Alrighty, well, here we are once again. Welcome one and welcome all to the Junk Shop Library channel, home of Improv Bible Study, the Atheist Bible Study, where we read every single last word of the King James Bible of 1611 and then rip it a new asshole from a modern atheist humanist perspective because it's an outdated pile of anti-humanist misogynistic crap. If that sounds appealing to you, stick around, hit the thumbs up, consider subscribing. We're on a drive to 300, y'all. We just broke the 250 subscriber mark, and we'll be having the 250 subscriber celebration stream in less than 10 days because we're already a third of the way through December, believe it or not. Sweet Jesus McGillicuddy. All right. What we are doing today, and for that matter, 6 days a week, would not be possible without the folks who have visited the address below and pledged their support to the channel. You see their names scrolling at the bottom of the screen now if I edited my banner correctly. And these fine folks have pledged their monetary support and given their ongoing moral support and constructive criticism and feedback to the channel. And they're the ones that keep us on the air, that keep us streaming 6 days a week, that keep us improving as we go, and that get access to not only 2 patron-only streams a week, but to the patrons-only section of the Discord linked in the descriptions below, which I just this morning have attempted to revitalize and re-engage with after having forgotten that it existed for some considerable amount of time. Junk shop and technology, y'all. Some of y'all know how that goes. In a special particular, I've got to give shout outs to my top 2-tier patrons. These folks really and truly have gone above and beyond in their support of the channel. My illuminated manuscript patron, Captain Kimothy, and my genuine calfskin patrons, Paul Camish, my first patron, and Bill. These folks really have dug in their heels and thrown their support behind the channel to an extent that I didn't ever think would be possible. Thank y'all so very, very much. All righty. I'm going to check in with the chat and do my announcements, and then we will launch into Holy Writ, the book of Isaiah, beginning with, if memory serves, the 27th chapter. I'll give you a moment to find that in your Pew Bible. Mark says I'm echoing badly. I don't know why that would be, unless let me just make sure. I think I closed out the tab that had my stream in it. Mark, let me know if it's still going. I'll keep an eye on the chat whilst I scroll through the chat and say hello to the folks, ye of the smiters, who are joining me live here today. Let's see. Amiga Nuts was first through the door, the man with the links. Thank you for all you do for all of us, my friend. Never Again is here. A bit of tea and Danish. Good evening. I hope you're doing well. The Lone Wanderer's Bunker. Hello. Good to see you as ever. Great performance on the Let's Rip Matt Powell's terrible little movie, a new one, stream earlier. Let us see. Lisa for Truth, a new friend of the channel. Good to see you. Welcome, as always. Amber Schofield, hello. Always a delight. Aunt Jur, translator extraordinaire. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you are not a Patreon member, and so you didn't see the incredibly filthy version of the Song of Solomon that Aunt Jur graced us with a little while back. I look very professorial today. Well, thank you. This poor, dilapidated little jacket, I'm not going to show you all the state of the lining, has been with me since I was 16 years old. Old Junk Shop came early to tweed. Mark Caesar, I already mentioned, but hello, greetings to the land down under. Paul Camish, patron numero uno, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see. Aunt Jer says, I don't hear an echo. Grumpy old dude, hello, my friend. Good to see you. It has been too long. Microraptor, hey, lady, good to see you. I hadn't seen you since, what would it have been? Yesterday. I hope you're doing well. You didn't miss anything. Mark Caesar says it's hard to make out what I'm saying with all the echo. I've only got the one tab open, I think. Let me make sure I don't have another browser window live. No, just Word. Anybody else having echo problems? Especially if I can't be understood. I'm hesitant to launch into Holy Writ. Y'all bear with me while I troubleshoot. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me check settings over here. Audio. Well, my echo cancellation is on. Oh, Mark had two streams up. Okay, so don't scare me like that. All right, problem solved. Fantastic. Okay, good. We got that sorted. I'm so happy. Scared. All righty. Well, in terms of announcements, we are trying to get a new series off the ground here on the channel. Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, we are starting the Book of Mormon exploration. We got through the front matter last week. What the hell is today? Today's Friday. Yes, today's Friday. So tomorrow afternoon, sorry, y'all, I've been fighting with technology of various sorts all morning, and Old Junk Shop a little frazzled. At 5:30 p.m., we'll be launching into the first book of Nephi. Having gotten through the front matter last week, we now turn to the actual scripture of the Book of Mormon. That series has proven remarkably popular already, and I'm very gratified by that. I was remembering the early days of improv Bible study and was kind of afraid of what corner I had backed myself into by trying to get a whole new criticism stream dealing with an entirely different religion off the ground. But y'all have really jumped in wholeheartedly with me with your noses pinched and your toes pointed. So, awesome. Oh, Lisa's got a live stream. Oh, dear. Well, so that's the problem. Everybody's streaming so much all the time. So, but I hope you check back in with us after the fact. We're having a lot of fun over there. And of course, we've got the 250 subscriber celebration stream on Sunday the 20th. That's only less than 2 weeks away at this point. It's 9 days from now. Hashtag Junk Shop Eats Jesus. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to be taste testing various forms of communion bread ordered from honest to goodness Christian wholesale suppliers. It's going to be fun. Grumpy Old Dude asks, how's the unpacking going? Slowly, my friend. Slowly it is going. See, we know we're going to have to move again in a year, and that's taken a lot of the impetus out of getting all the boxes open and broke down. Michael Raptor says it would be fun to learn about the Torah and the Quran, too. But that might be tricky for someone who isn't either Jewish or Muslim. True. I toyed with the idea of doing the Quran as well, and about the time I started toying with it, R and Ra started going through it with actual experts on the Quran. So I don't feel I would have anything significant to contribute to that. Communion cookies. Yes, indeed. All right. I think that's the extent of my announcements. So without further ado, let's launch into the big book of war crimes and outdated regulations. We always have such fun between these covers. Last week, day before yesterday, it just feels like last week in quarantine time, we had an army of Sangin zombies. Check out Wednesday's stream. Don't forget about Isaiah if you missed it. See what I did there? Wasn't that smooth? Wasn't that clever? Gotta grind, y'all. Gotta hustle. You know how it is. All right. We turn today to chapter 27. Let's see what fresh madness lies in the word of the Lord. In that day, the Lord, with his sore and great and strong sword, shall punish Leviathan the piercing serpent, even Leviathan that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day sing ye unto her a vineyard of red wine. I, the Lord, do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who would set the briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them. I would burn them together. Or let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me. And he shall make peace with me. He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud, and fill the face of the world with fruit. Hath he smitten him as he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? In measure, when it shooteth forth, thou wilt debate with it. He stayeth his rough wind in the day of the east wind. By this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged, and this is all the fruit to take away his sin, when he maketh all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in sunder. The groves and images shall not stand up. Yet the defenced city shall be desolate, and the habitation forsaken, and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come, and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will shew them no favor. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mount of Jerusalem. And there we've chapter 27. Well, you know, we usually complain about how little smiting there is these days. And there we got 3 smotes in one sentence. Yea, verily, a great smiting. That's got to be the weirdest, most tedious sentence in the entire book so far. Chapter 27, verse 7 of Isaiah. Hath he smitten him as he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? I had the outright gall and audacity to complain about repetition before now, sweet Jesus. Okay, so the whole world going to be smoked, and Israel will return again to the worship of God. And the high places and the groves will not be worshipped anymore. Which is the ongoing theme of the book of Isaiah, and Isaiah just keeps hammering that point home. And then he's going to beat off the nations. I just report them, y'all. I do not make them up. And the remnants of Israel are going to return from Assyria and Egypt to Jerusalem to worship the Lord. In case you hadn't already heard. Awesome. Y'all, the time is coming and soon will be at hand when old Junk Shop is going to have to get a new Bible. What should I do with this one? Should I keep it as a relic? Should I auction it off? Should I donate it somewhere? Let me know in the comments below. All right, so Israel's going to return to the Lord for the umpteenth goddamn time. God is going to beat off all the nations. And there's going to be smiting. So, same old, same old. Chapter 28. Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is a fading flower, which are on the head of the fat valleys of them that are overcome with wine. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which, as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. The crown of pride, the drunkards of Ephraim, shall be trodden under feet. And the glorious beauty which is on the head of the fat valley shall be a fading flower, and as the hasty fruit before the summer. Yet when he looketh upon it, yet when he that looketh upon it seeth, while it is yet in his hand, he eateth it up. In that day shall the Lord of hosts be for a crown of glory, and for a diadem of beauty unto the residue of his people, and for a spirit of judgment to him that sitteth in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the battle to the gate. But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breasts. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, This is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing. Yet they would not hear. But the word of the Lord was unto them, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. that they might go and fall backward, and be broken, and snared, and taken. Wherefore, hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I lay in Zion for foundation a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. From the time that it goeth forth it shall take you, for morning by morning shall it pass over, by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report. For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it. For the Lord shall rise up as in Mount Perazim. He shall be wroth as in the day of Gibeon? Question mark? That he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. Now, therefore, be ye not mockers, lest your bands be made strong. For I have heard from the Lord God of hosts a consumption, even determined upon the whole earth. Give ye ear, and hear my voice. Hearken, and hear my speech. Doth the plowman plow all day to sow? Doth he open and break the clods of his ground? When he hath made plain the face thereof, doth he not cast abroad the fitches, and scatter the cumin, and cast in the principal wheat, and the appointed barley, and the rye in their place? For his God doth instruct him to discretion, and doth teach him. For the fitches are not threshed with a threshing instrument, neither is a cartwheel turned about upon the cumin, but the fitches are beaten out with a staff, and the cumin with a rod. Bread corn is bruised, because he will not ever be threshing it, nor break it with the wheel of his cart, nor bruise it with his horsemen. This also cometh forth from the Lord of hosts, which is wonderful in counsel, and excellent in working. And there we've got the immensely agrarian 28th chapter. Okay, so God's going to do weird shit. Strange acts. Did strange mean something different in 1611? Let's find out. Oh, pardon me 1 second while I Google. Obsolete meanings of strange. To wonder, to be astonished. Okay, well. Or by a strange lady, perhaps, says Microraptor. Microraptor coming with the call back. Hey, Dave, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. So, yeah, honestly, it's just more of the same. God's going to wreak great vengeance and furious anger upon the wicked. Israel's going to return to the Lord. Well, hell, we learned something. I had no idea that strange once meant wonderful or astonishing. So, hashtag things I learned from Junk Shop. Hey, Surf. Hello. Lisa's also live streaming through the Bible, starting at Genesis 1. I don't think I've seen any of those. I got to join. Somebody drop Lisa for Truth's links in the chat for future reference. Yeah. So just more of Isaiah, more of the same, right? And then a lengthy parenthesis about how you don't incorporate new ways of doing things into your harvesting regimen, and God's not going to incorporate new ways of doing things into his judgment regimen. At least that was the sense of it I got. I don't know what is a fitch. They kept talking about the proper way to thresh fitches. And I've already zoomed in real close to the camera to look one thing up on Google. I'm not going to do it again. Titan Uranus, one of the oldest friends of the channel. Good to see you as ever, my friend. Hello. Yeah, just more of Isaiah being Isaiah, a prophet of doom and destruction, and of the eventual return of Israel into the good graces of the Lord. Any of y'all drag anything else out of that chapter? Because I didn't see anything. I was hoping for more. Oh, I know what I skipped over. The title of the episode. Because I just happened to glance down at the start of chapter. We're going to backtrack to 27 here real quick. I happened to glance down at the first verse of 27 while I was finishing up 26 and saw Leviathan and dragon both together in the same verse and got all excited. The Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan the piercing serpent and slay the dragon that is in the sea. The only problem is it doesn't then go on to do anything interesting with the Leviathan and the dragon that is in the sea. So we're probably supposed to interpret that these are symbolic of the enemy nations. Because then it goes on to talk about how bad Ephraim fucked up by rising up against Jerusalem, and how the people of Israel are going to be fetched back from Assyria and Egypt, whither they have been carried captive and reinstalled. Hey, Ox! And reinstalled in the holy city and in the worship of the Lord. Ox says my smite meter is only at 60%. More smite, please. You should have been here a little earlier, my friend. We had 3 smites in one verse a minute ago. Were you not here for that? Damn my notifications. YouTube does not love me. Yep. Of course, if I had wandered around in the burning-ass desert TM for 3 years stark butt-ass naked like Isaiah did, my mental processes might be a little stultified too. I might be repeating myself and stumbling over my prophetic word a little as well. Who knows? 29? 29. 29. Woe unto Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Add ye year to year, let them kill sacrifices. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be unto me as Ariel. And I will camp against thee round about, and will lay siege against thee with a mount, and I will raise forts against thee, and thou shalt be brought down, and shalt speak out of the ground, and thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be as of one that hath a familiar spirit out of the ground, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust, and the multitude of the terrible ones shall be as chaff that passeth away. Yea, it shall be at an instant, suddenly. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. It shall even be as when an hungry man dreameth, and behold, he eateth, but awaketh, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreameth, and behold, he drinketh, but when he awaketh, and behold, he is faint, and his soul hath appetite. So shall the multitude of all the nations be that fight against Mount Zion. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered. And the vision of all is to become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered unto him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord said, Forasmuch as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, Who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, He made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, He had no understanding? Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest? And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eye of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore, thus saith the Lord who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the God of Israel. They also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. All right, well, there's 29. More Isaiah. I'm seeing people sneak in. I think I saw B come sneaking in, and it has been a minute. Welcome. Richard Madsen, good to see you. Peace and respect. Okay. So as far as I can tell, just more Isaiah being Isaiah. Israel's going to return to the Lord. The Lord's going to smite the wicked and the oppressor. And apparently Jesus plagiarized the shit out of this chapter for the Sermon on the Mount. And that ring a little familiar, the meek shall inherit the earth, and so forth and so on. I gotta say, I love the imagery in verse 4, speaking against the enemies of Israel. Thou shalt be brought down, and shall speak out of the ground, and thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be as of one that hath a familiar spirit out of the ground, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. Now that is vivid. You are going to be so badly smoked that even your voice will be like the voice of a ghost in the dust. Jesus Wizard Spatula, another new friend of the channel. Good to see you as ever. Richard Madsen says the dust of volcanic ash. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, you're going to be reduced to such low estate that it's almost going to take someone who speaks with the dead to raise your voice to the ears of the nations. Yeah. Now that is to be smitten with a great smiting, to be raised with a Z down to such an extent. My goodness, we got a busy little chat today. I love it. Thank y'all all so much for coming out today. It's fantastic. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. Yeah, Microraptor, not even... not even the singing zombies will hear you. We had singing zombies last time, y'all. Check out Wednesday's episode if you don't know what I'm talking about. What we're talking about. Ox says, am I the only one that gets a giggle when they hear the word smite? Well, my friend, you've come to the right channel then. Wow, that made it look like I had a coffee cup for a head. That's only metaphorically true, not literally. Okay, so if you like the Smiters mug, you can get it at the Teespring link in the description below. Gotta grind, y'all. Gotta hustle. You know how it is. The worst carolers ever, says Aunt Jer. Yeah, speak up, son. I can't hear you. You sound like a ghost. Yeah, just more Isaiah being Isaiah. You know, to be the longest book of the Bible at 66 chapters, you would think that either there'd be more content or it could have been trimmed down a little. Because outside of that period where he was essentially working his way around the trade routes and saying, woe to them, woe to them, woe to them. They're going to get smoked. They're going to get smoked. They're going to get smoked. There hadn't been a lot of context here. Did I say context? Content. There hadn't been a lot of content here. It's been a lot of prophecy of Israel going to return to God again, and all of the enemies of Israel going to get smoked again. Except for that one weird detour where God made poor Isaiah wandering around the burning-ass desert for 3 years without a stitch of clothing on. Then he came out of the desert and started wandering around, repeating himself a lot. Fancy that. Chapter 30. What does it mean for Israel to return to God? Will he pull the whole country up to heaven? No, I get the sense that it means to return to the worship of God. And also to return to God's holy city, because God has gotten real fucking attached to this one plot of land that he didn't used to live in. "30. Woe to so much woe to people. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be an help nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach. The burden of the beasts of the south, into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this, their strength is to sit still. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it assured to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. But ye said, no, for we will ride upon horses, therefore shall ye flee. And we will ride upon the swift, therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till ye be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain, and as an ensign on a hill. And therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you, and therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For the Lord is a God of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him. For all the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. Ye shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver, and the ornament of thy molten images of gold. Thou shalt cast them away as a menstruous cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, Get thee hence. Then shall he give the rain of thy seed, that thou shalt sow the ground withal, and bread of the increase of the earth. And it shall be fat and plenteous. In that day shall thy cattle feed in large pastures. The oxen likewise, and the young asses that ear the ground, shall eat clean provender, which hath been winnowed with the shovel and with the fan. And there shall be upon every high mountain, and upon every high hill, rivers and streams of waters in the day of the great slaughter, when the towers fall. Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold as the light of 7 days, in the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people, and healeth the stroke of their wound. Behold, the name of the Lord cometh from far, burning with his anger, and the burden thereof is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue as a devouring fire, and his breath as an overflowing stream shall reach to the midst of the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. And there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. Ye shall have a song, as in the night, when a holy solemnity is kept, and gladness of heart, as when one goeth with a pipe to come into the mountain of the Lord, to the mighty one of Israel. And the Lord shall cause his glorious voice to be heard, and shall shew the lighting down of his arm, with the indignation of his anger, and with the flame of a devouring fire, with scattering, and tempest, and hailstones. For through the voice of the Lord shall the Assyrian be beaten down, which smote with a rod. And in every place where the grounded staff shall pass, which the Lord shall lay upon him, it shall be with tabrets and harps, and in battles of shaking will he fight with it. For Tophet is ordained of old, yea, for the king it is prepared. He hath made it deep and large. The pile thereof is fire and much wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, doth kindle it. All right. Well, there's 30. Goodness sakes. Okay, so this is reaching a ways back to when Israel sought Egypt for assistance, and God got pissed off. Not happy was God, because the people of Israel, rather than reaching out to him, to God, reached out to Pharaoh. Mercy. Imagine that. Reaching out to somebody you could actually send a physical emissary to and get physical help from in the form of chariots and soldiers and shit. Yeah. Get thee hence! Exactly. Yeah. I've never encountered the word menstruous before. We're just learning shit all over the place today, aren't we? Yeah. So the moral of the story is, don't lean on other peoples of the earth. Turn ye unto the Lord. Otherwise, God's going to get all pissed off and pissy and smite you. And we don't want that, because we don't want someone who speaks with dead to have to speak on our behalf. Just more Isaiah going on and on. On and on and on. The I'm going to say, other than your occasional issue of thought crime, the endorsement of the concept of thought crime, which some of y'all know by now I am not a fan of and could rail against forever, but since we're creeping up on the top of the hour, I'm not going to today. I'm just going to stand here and say the concept of thought crime is bad and toxic, and people need to stop teaching it to their children because it fucks you up. So there. There's not really much objectionable in Isaiah. It's got some interesting turns of phrase. It's got some striking imagery, but mostly it's just yet another prophet wandering around in the desert saying, woe unto the enemies of God and woe unto the idolater. And that's pretty much it. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not seeing a lot here. It's just, you know, back in the book of Judges, we would have, you know, one mighty man of God who would go and smite the king of the enemies of Israel, and then turn to the people and say, and so shall it be to all who oppose us. You know, seek semper tyrannis. But the prophets we've encountered in the recent days have essentially just wandered around and bloviated for a while. Not many deeds and a whole lot of talk. Not much smiting and a whole lot of talk of future smite. Amiganut says, guess those desert days of burnt loins have affected his head. It's entirely possible. Yeah, the other gods don't exist anyway, but they still scare the almighty God. Points out Microraptor. Exactly. Yahweh can't seem to make up his mind whether other stuff is real or not, at least so far in this book. You know, in some sections, he's speaking in the plural, and he's talking to other celestial entities, and he's referencing the things that we have created, and then in others it's just, you know, you shall have no other gods before me, leaving open, I suppose, the at least theoretical possibility that you could have other gods. You're just not allowed to have any that you give greater deference to. I don't fucking know, y'all. And then sometimes he's insisting that he's the only one and all others are false and vain. And yes, I understand that, at least according to the general consensus of biblical scholarship, it's secular biblical scholarship, it's that the people progressed from a pantheon to a monotheistic worship over a significant portion of time. But there are other interpretations, and some of them are interesting and some of them are not. I can't decide if I like the writing style of Isaiah or not. There's a level at which it's interesting and funny. Will he be smoked with the smiting with which he hath smitten the others? You know, it's kind of funny and interesting, and it makes it easier to remember, certainly. But the part of me that got burned out on repetition back in Psalms is a little annoyed. So, I don't know. Hey, Atheist Donna, good to see you. We were just getting ready to wrap up. I'm so sorry.
Lone Wanderer said you didn't see her message in the chat.
No, I don't guess I did. Sorry. The chat is alternated between standing stock still and blurring on by. My StreamYards is giving me stress. It's been smoked by the God of Israel as vengeance for my depravity.
That's all right. She told me what it was, so I'll tell you after.
All right. Well, the chapters are getting a little long here in Isaiah, so we're not making it through as many chapters as we were for a while, but that at least was an even-numbered one, and we're creeping up on the top of the hour. So, oh, send it. You're awesome.
And
Thank
she feels
you.
dirty. She had to buy one.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming out with me today. I've seen a lot of faces I don't see very often in the chat. So lovely to see you all. We'll be back for more improv Bible study on Monday, same time, 3 Eastern. We do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mental Health Thursdays will return on Thursday, hopefully with a little more organized episode than the one we just had. And, oh, thank you, Richard. I'm so glad. Good to see you as ever. Peace and respect. And then tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 Eastern, we'll be launching again into the Book of Mormon. We're starting on the actual text of the Book of Mormon, having finally gotten through the front matter last week. And we'll be launching into the first book of Nephi, which I have never read in my life. So we're going to seriously put the improv back in improv Mormon study. Y'all have got to help me come up with a better hashtag, because I got to be able to market this on Twitter somehow. Let me know in the comments below your suggestion. Okay, so that'll do it for us. Extra special thank you as ever to my patrons. You keep us afloat and keep us streaming, and allowed us to move into the professional version of StreamYard, which allows us to do things like randomly decide to start covering the Book of Mormon for no readily discernible reason other than that last Saturday afternoon old junk shop got bored. And as we always say before we roll out of here, if I can find my cursor, everybody take care and be safe. Stand against hate. And we'll see y'all again soon. I was in the wrong tab.